team ALLI-FI. This is a Puyallup-based group. This is a Tacoma team. Don't know if they will tell you this, so I'll make sure to tell you that they're all first-year Tacoma students, Tacoma students. So, welcome, ALLI-FI.
Testing, can you all hear me? Excellent. Thank you so much for having us here today. I'll just do some brief introductions. My name is Emilio. This is my business partner, Brian, and this is Tyler. They're first-generation college students. We're all students here at the University of Washington, Tacoma, and we're all freshmen. So, we're here, our purpose here today is to tell you our vision, our purpose, our organization, and everything that we're trying to do. Start the presentation. So, our organization here is ALLI-FI. It's a breakup of two words, all and Wi-Fi. Put them together, you get internet for all. So, I want to see some hands here. Who here has internet access at home? That's what we expected. That's what the numbers say. It checks out. Perfect. So, last year in Washington State, there were 498,041 households that were registered as low income, meaning they made less than $30,000 a year. At $30,000 a year, adjusted for household size, there are so many challenges that these households face that we can't even discuss here today. But we're bringing a solution to one of these challenges that all of these households are facing, and that's our mission, and that's we are closing the digital divide by connecting these underserved families and individuals to the internet. We are bringing compassion to internet. So imagine this. You're working at home, or your child is doing schoolwork, and they need access to internet. But you don't have internet at home, so what do? You go to a library, you go to a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, just to get connected to the internet. But here at our organization, ALLI-FI, we believe that internet access is an essential right in this digital age, just as water and electricity are in the home. I'll let my partner, Brian, speak more about this.
Right, thank you, Emilio. So, we are ALLI-FI, and first of all, judges, I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having us. At ALLI-FI, we're here to close the digital divide by providing a service that, sadly, I did not have earlier in my life. You see, during elementary school and leading up to my middle school years, I didn't have high speed, let alone just internet in my house. I had to go to shops like Safeway, I had to go to McDonald's, and I had to go to the libraries just to access daily internet. You see, my partners and companions that are here now with me, even at UWT, they had opportunities that I didn't. You see, when I was younger, I didn't have the opportunity to actually browse and have help online for any of my academic or even personal developments. At ALLI-FI, we're here to actually close the digital divide and help modern-day companions to actually have the opportunity to not only develop themselves, but their community. You see, with the government fund of the ACP program, we are going to help low-income families have high-speed internet. We're going to cap this price at $15 monthly for those eligible, and for those who opt out of the ACP program, we are still keeping a cap of $15 for high-speed internet. Now, I'd like to pass it to my partner Tyler on how we're going to be able to achieve this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. For our main business model, we're bringing three main things together: an internet wholesaler, a hardware supplier, and a delivery supplier. For our internet wholesaler, we'd be working with a company like Gigs, and basically what they do is they buy and access data from Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and then they sell it to companies like us. We combine that with hardware. So for the first year, you would have to be using more expensive, normal consumer-grade parts. But after the first year, we want to reinvest money and get that couple $100 router and modem cost all the way down to $70. We then have a quote for it. We combine this all with a delivery supplier like FedEx or DHL. The positive about DHL is that we could actually run all of our inventory through that, and we would have no personal warehouse.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tyler. So the first problem when we meet or we are reaching our mission is internet access. But then there's a second problem, and that's internet equipment. So that is our nonprofit side of our business, and our goal is just to help people get connected to the internet. But for us to meet our mission, we have to venture out to a for-profit venture, and that is approaching the hardware and router side of things. So if you don't know, everything that you buy, most everything that you buy relating to hardware equipment is outdated. All the chips are using the ARM version 7 32-bit architecture, which all that means is it came out in 2007, and if you're lucky, 2009. So all of these manufacturers are very complacent with just keeping hardware where it's at, and every single year hardware goes down, the cost of hardware goes down, but they're keeping the same price. So if you notice, if you try to push a bandwidth to its limit using your internet equipment, your equipment will fail. If you try to load 100 devices on your network, it will fail. We've done numerous tests. That is the limit. But we approached microchip technology, and we spoke with the vice president of the 8-bit microcontroller division to ask for a solution to this. How do we keep up with our internet demands? And here in my pocket here is a demo unit. This is just an example of what we're seeking a 32-bit microcontroller would look like. This is directly from Microchip. This is a dev kit, a development unit. But when we integrate this 32-bit micro into our hardware, we can do things that aren't currently vastly done in the marketplace. So we can have hundreds of devices on the network. We can have high-speed bandwidth accessible and available consistently. We can have, that's all I can say because we're in the process of getting patents for all of these things. But who here has a modem or a router at home? That should be everyone, because you need a modem, one, to access the internet, and if wirelessly connecting to the internet, you need a router. But our equipment, you no longer need those two devices. When I was sent the design sketch for our prototype and everything, I was one, in awe, two, shocked, and impressed. Because nothing exists, like when I was viewing this, nothing exists on the market. And we don't know what that total addressable market is because it's everyone that has internet. So everyone in this building can benefit from what we have to offer on the hardware side. We thought about this idea and everything and had our assets in less than 10 days. Because the story goes, I saw the flyer for this competition and then I called my buddies up and I'm like, what do we got to do? What's our idea? So we're so passionate and driven just to achieve this mission of helping people out, to a family with internet and a family without internet. The difference between the two, the family with internet has infinitely many more opportunities than the family without internet. So we're just trying to help people out and bridge that divide. Thank you. Sure.
Is there a reason why you're limiting to low-income families? Because you talked about this new innovative hardware that one can use without a router or other equipment. Wouldn't that be more feasible to expand that idea to something that's marketable to the big giant companies that spend all this money on hardware that they no longer need to use?
Well, we're trying to think of it in what can we do now. There's our goal, I don't think I mentioned it, but our goal is to service 50,000 low-income households and individuals. That's something we can actually do now. The process is super simple. I called the FCC, we have partnerships already, and we're just in talks with negotiating. We can negotiate whatever we want. Like we're not tied to anything. So that's what we can do today. The hardware side of things will take way longer to do. That's why my business partner said first year we're going to reinvest money into research and development, because we can't feasibly do the hardware side of things immediately, but we can reach out and service the low income and people that need internet the most.
Very good. The reason why I was asking that question is because the minute you said that, my brain almost blew out of my head. Because the idea, the concept, and even if you have the foundation, I guarantee you Comcast or any of those big companies would invest in the research and development if it's going to expand their profit margin in the billions, zillions of dollars. Especially with all that, especially with the equipment, we probably could sell that to the thrift company, to repurpose somehow. You follow what I'm saying? I'm just thinking bigger because it just blew me away.
When we thought of this idea, so the reason we thought about who we were going to help. And then when we were reaching our mission, we're like, wait, there's an even bigger problem here. Like, how do we, other countries, they have the equipment. For some reason here, it's just not like, in other countries you can get internet for $20 a gigabyte per second. Here it's way more than that. It's many times more. Like later, I received a call from one of my business partners late at night, midnight actually, and they sent me an idea. And that was this idea, the hardware side. It's like, I didn't even know about that whole side of this whole thing here. But that's huge. That's the second part of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really stuck here because I believe, based on what you're telling me, that you can do both from the hardware side. You can accomplish the same mission from the hardware side, where you can not only support the low income, whatever the number is, not only in this area, in the world. If that's the reality that you really want to get to, you can get to it from that point and be pretty well off in the process.
Yeah, and the thing is, microchip can make hundreds of millions of chips a year. They can do that. So like when we get the SKU, because the vice president is looking into the specific SKU that we need, it's just a matter of placing the order and then we can work with whatever chip that they give us.
Hey guys.
What would you say the most common use case for having high-speed internet would be for a teenager? Would it be like gaming or regular web-based? What would you say like the most frustration for like a low-income teenager or a kid would be?
Well, in my case, I can directly relate. So for me, it would be cloud storage. So like I have 23,482 photos in my cloud storage backup. And it takes days to access all of that data. But like for example, uploading data to the cloud, it takes I'll tell you that, okay, we're getting there. But what this chip allows us to do, I'll reveal this much. If you know about network-attached storage devices, this chip will allow us to do that. In other words, you no longer need to rely on cloud storage to access your data, meaning you own it. So what we're thinking about doing is integrating network-attached storage into our router, which then incorporates the center of it, which is the chip, the 32-bit microcontroller. Like, I never gamed as a teenager. I just took a bunch of photos and backed up all my files for school, so that's my use case.
So specifically for low income, there are problems for academic stuff, so like attending Zoom calls, especially with the COVID pandemic, where everything was shifted online. And then especially it's more prevalent than ever to have assignments turned in online. So that's the problem we're facing with that low-income families are facing with that. Low-income individuals in general, by accessing the internet, they'll be able to have better job opportunities and even online hybrid work and stuff like that.
So for Zoom, if you're technical, Zoom takes 660 kilobits per second. So this internet equipment is live, and we tested it just now, and we got an upload of 15 megabytes. So if you do the math, you can have well over 20 people on a Zoom call at the same time on this network right here.
Hey guys, just a quick question. So I get the macro of what you're trying to accomplish. I'm a little confused on it, but I can kind of get myself there. But the micro part of the business, I don't understand. So how do you sell the service? How do you fund the service? Sounds like it's going to be government-backed funding. But there's 3 of you guys. Are you planning like a retail presence to each name? I mean, what's the business part of it?
Okay, so one of our partners is PCs for People, another nonprofit that does the same thing that we do. And how they started, and when we're talking about how do we do this, they struck the problem directly. They went to schools, worked with government, went to libraries to just get customers aware, because the customers that or users that we're targeting don't necessarily have internet access. So how do we promote something that doesn't require internet? We have to go through it straight on and set up pop-up locations, but we don't actually, we're not planning on like operating a whole building like they do. They operate several stores to get people in. We would just be reaching out directly to the community with community events and other things like that.
Got time for one more question.
So I feel like when I'm listening to today, 20 years down the road, I'm going to be saying like, I heard these guys pitch this at UT, and now they're like, multi-millionaires. So like, if there's any opportunity to invest, like, let's go. But my question is, I admire you guys for your guys' mission to provide internet access to low-income families. I actually have worked with a group called the Tacoma Community Network. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but their model is kind of doing exactly that. And one of the issues that the biggest issue that they've had is infrastructure and providing the equipment. And so you guys have kind of explained a little bit about the equipment part, but being able to bring the internet to a household also requires having access to the internet satellites and things like that. So can you guys explain your guys' process of being able to do that, or am I wrong?
So specifically for that, that's why I brought up gigs, and basically they buy excess data from mobile companies, and so all of our internet would be through cell towers. So this is running from a cell tower. Like specifically this one for the proof of concept is running off of a T-Mobile cell tower.
But there are companies out there, and we spoke with them, and we're still in talks, but we're planning on using an internet wholesaler that uses all 3 companies, meaning if one goes down, you have access. If you combine the cell tower sites with all of the companies, you have a coverage rate of over 90%. So, but the problem is still the physical infrastructure, so fiber, cable, DSL. That is not what we're trying to do. We're trying to use existing infrastructure from cell tower sites to give to specifically high-speed internet. Let's make this clear. High-speed internet is anything above 25 down and 4 up. So we just got that. I don't even know what it's above high-speed internet. So.
And specifically with this, all you need is just electricity. So
there's no installation cost. You just send the customer or user the equipment, they plug it in, and they're immediately able to connect to internet.
So until you guys have the equipment in place, you guys aren't able to provide the internet, right? So is it almost like chicken and egg type of thing?
Yeah, that's where we're trying to solve that issue of pricing. But after 1 year, for the first year, we may have to do payment plans or something to get this actually into low-income families' home. It would be a 0 interest or over 12 months. something like that, to actually get this expensive equipment into their home. But after that, it would just be a charge of $70, and then it would be $15 a month.
So the $70 is the unit price for all of the equipment. This is more complicated than we needed. We got a quote from a manufacturer that combines the two, the modem and the router, into one, so now you're dealing with one piece of equipment that you send out in a small box to the customer over a shipping service, and then it's at their house.
Okay, thank you very much, ALLI-FI.